EWN.co.za or download the EWN app.
When we say 947 is everywhere.
All day, every day.
We mean it. Because when you're not locked into 947 on your radio, you're hitting primemediaplus.com, the home of 947 online, where you'll find everything in one place. Want to win big?
Yes, please.
Discover what's hot and happening in and around your city. Catch the latest podcasts doing the most, or get your fill of all the trendiest trends to dance to, listen to, or dress to. Everyone, everywhere can get everything they love and more.
Love the app.
It's sleek, fresh, and fast every single time.
Let's go.
Every minute of the day, 24/7.
Love it.
Download the app today or hit primemediaplus.com, the home of 947 online.
#MSW.
You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored,
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
and most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Great show as always, Tarop.
Thank you, Mr. Marawa. Good show as always.
Great show as always. Thanks.
Great show as always.
Great show as always, Rob.
What a moment! How does it feel to book a place in the World Cup next year?
It feels wonderful. We believed in ourselves, and I think you saw it from the beginning of the game that we wanted to win that game. So Nigeria did what they have to do, and we did what we have to do. So we go to the World Cup. It's fantastic.
Congratulations, Bafana Bafana. You are coming back to the global stage again at the FIFA World Cup for the fourth time after the last appearance on home soil in 2010. We can't wait to see you at the tournament. Congratulations, South Africa. See you soon.
In their place.
We've got far posted at towards the Dube.
Important thing, they need to at least score 2-3 goals, and not concede any.
Well done, well done. You're so excited. Well done. World Cup, here we come.
Champions, we are going. Oh. The last time we qualified for World Cup, like legitimately qualified for Soccer World Cup, was 2002. They took 3 points away from us, and we still qualified for the World Cup. I'm Bafana-tastic, I'm Bafana thanks, I'm Bafana-ricious, I'm Bafana everything, I am champions. I love you. 3-0.
Mike Greenaway, Tando Manana. Good to see you guys behaving for a change, eh?
Why are you applauding us? You have been misbehaving.
We are winning. We're going to the World Cup.
Are you happy now?
I'm delighted. Are you?
Very.
Please show your happiness.
I'm smiling.
Show the smile through the radio.
I don't have white teeth like you, man.
What are they? Are they brown?
They light white.
I told you to give up that smoking, boss. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
You don't even buy me matches. How do you know I smoke?
It shows that you still smoke Boxer Boy. Hey, use matches. Yo.
Live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
I hear people say Nigeria did us a favor. Don't they want to go to the World Cup themselves? No, man. No. Everybody for himself, guys. Yesterday night was beautiful. Bafana Bafana, and they were a marvel to watch. That Mbata is talented. I can tell you now. Mbule is the real master chef. Simnandi.
Oh, Simnandi. I mean, what's the feeling, guys? It is 6 minutes past 6 on a Wednesday, the 15th of October, after all the damage that was done yesterday. I think it's still unbelievable. Just to say that South Africa is heading off to the FIFA World Cup next year, And if we've been trying to calculate, I don't know, people are trying to calculate how much the tickets are going to be, but we are 239 days away from being in the United States of America and playing, hopefully, our first match of a World Cup. Well done, Mzansi. Well done, Hugo Broos. Well done, Bafana Bafana. Well done to the technical team. Well done to everybody that made sure that our journey and our path is a successful one. We cannot wait. It's celebrations one way. It has been and it will continue to be. It is Marawa Sports Worldwide. Proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
Let's go!
The moments you remember. The games you can't forget. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.
Good evening, Rob. Good evening to MSW family. Ngusiye Gqabekh. Rob, firstly, ngifuna ubulela uBruce. uBruce has brought back a pride, to the nation. He has brought back a happiness to the football nation. He has made us to be respected again as Izweni. He has made it fashionable, for everyone to be proud and love Bafana Bafana again. He has made it fashionable for supporters to be behind the boys. And he has made the players, to love playing for Bafana Bafana. Hugo Broos has created an environment where players are excited to go and represent the nation. He has made that jersey a thing to be fought for, something we haven't seen for a very, very long time. So we need to be thankful Kulo Matala for doing that. Secondly, thank you to the players, all the players that played towards the World Cup qualifiers. Siyanibulela Manene, you've done us proud. Now go and do us proud to go AFCON na go World Cup. Then go Rob.
Yeah, and I fully agree. I mean, I don't even know who's outside. We don't even know if we have a guest. The beautiful thing is that, security was informing me earlier on that there's a whole lot of big cars that are parked outside. People threatening to come into the studio. I don't know if they want to celebrate. They're saying some of them are VIPs, some of them are not VIPs. I have no idea. I think everybody's a VIP today. Whoever you are, who's sitting in the parking lot, hey, guess what? This is your platform. You're a shareholder. And such is life. We will open up the airwaves for you. But my goodness, what Sia in Quebec is saying is so true, because it will be wrong of me to start the show without highlighting the Bafana Bafana coach, Hugo Broos. I think he has more than anything cemented his legacy by leading that team back-to-back AFCON qualifications. And also, from last night, celebrating that historic World Cup return, declaring that South African football has now entered a new era. Of course it has. I mean, after that 3-0 win over Rwanda, that sealed our qualification. And he's credited the entire team, from players to support staff, for buying into the vision and staying the course through setbacks and criticism. So if you're in your car or wherever you are, just pump up the volume. And I'm allowing a good 5 minutes, because we give 5 hours to the president to give a State of the Nation address. Here's our State of the 5-minute address for tonight.
So, first, you are very lucky that this is the first of many who will follow this tonight, because this is really a fantastic evening for everyone. This is not only the coach. I'm part of it. This is a team who worked for the last 3 years to have all those performances and nice moments. I can't forget my staff, because they helped me a lot, especially Helman. You all know that I like him very much. So without him, we shouldn't achieve that. But it's not only my staff. It's also the medical staff who work day and night to have the players ready for to do big performances. The kit manager, the security manager, the team manager. We are a bunch of people. Him also, I don't forget you. So we are a bunch of people who have only one goal, and that is doing good performances and winning things. And I think this is not a work for me alone. I insist also to see what the players did in the last 3 years. And I know you are not always agreed with the choices I made. And I said already that I make on different criteria choices than you do. For me, it's important to have a player with quality, first of all, a player with the right mentality, secondly, and a player who can do what I ask him. And till now, I always succeed to do it. Even you thought that this one or this one or this one needed a chance. It's not like this that you build a team. It's not like this that you have performances. You need a plan, and you need to keep you on the plan. Because you know that this is the right way. And this is what we did in the last 3 years. This is fantastic, not only for us as coach or player or whatever, but for all the nation. I heard somebody saying on the pitch after the game, everybody laughed with Bafana Bafana. We were a joke, and now we are there. We are on a high level, and everybody respects us. And this again is not the work only for me. So, at last, I think that this is something that this nation needed. A different way to look at football. A different way to judge players. And I hope now, I really hope, that, okay, in December we are AFCON, we will try to do as good as last one and hopefully even better. But I hope that with all those high-level tournaments, and certainly next year in America with the World Cup, that players will have the opportunity to go to higher competitions. Because they deserve it, first of all, and they need it also. And if we can make that step in the future, you will see that South Africa will even getting better than they are already now. So again, don't ask me what my emotions are for the moment. I don't have words for that. I hoped maybe more, even more than every player of every man of the group, that we should go to America. And for me, it's a sentimental reason. You all know that I was already in a World Cup at the end of my career as a player, and now I do it again. And I think this is the right moment next year, after the World Cup, to stop my career and to go to my family and enjoy the next 20 years from my grandchildren and my children. But first of all, there is some work to do, and we will try to do it well. Thank you.
Well, if you throw your mind back to the famous Siwelele band, Umkhulu Lomsebenzi, Bafana Bafana song, it's exactly what Hugo Broos is talking about here. And if you listen very carefully and without a written speech, he really spoke from the heart. He really said what every South African wanted to hear. And he says, you know what, he's off to the World Cup. And undoubtedly, as he has said before, he will retire. That'll be it. He'll call it quits. Oh, it's a good thing that he didn't quit on us, because, sure, right now we're like, All right, we'll take some of your thoughts, your reactions, because it's not a smolanyana moment, this one. It's hell of a big, though. I think when you trace back the struggles, the ups and downs, the inability to qualify for anything, you know, even believing in some players that a lot of people had also written off. You look at a guy like Sipho Mbule, the journey with Bafana Bafana, where he is such a happy chap. He's leading the singing. I remember yesterday after the game, Ronan Williams was trying to kickstart the connection with the fans, and out of nowhere, Sipho Mbule just raced forward, took over. And the coach, I mean, he's praised him, the resurgence of the player, also reflecting back on the past concerns that he would have had.
Sipho was with us from the first day I was here. And immediately I saw what a good player he was. But Sipho had other interests than football. And after a few times, I didn't call him anymore. When you see the career of Sipho, he plays for Sundowns, he plays for Pirates, he plays for the big teams here. And see what a career he has. That has to be much and much and much better. So when we were looking for a replacement of Temba, okay, we tried Patrick, and then, we were talking about Sipho. I said, but Sipho, you see how is he playing? He had a good moment in Sekhukhune, but then it was again like that. So we talked about him, Elman and me, and we said, okay, we will give him a chance. And from the first minute when he came with us, I called him and I said to him, listen, man, this is your second chance. After this is finished. It's up to you. I give you a chance. If you don't grab them with your two hands, it's done. You will not ever be with the Bafana Bafana as long as I'm coach. But don't forget, there is an AFCON in December and maybe a World Cup in July next year. Do you want to be there? He said, yes. I said, okay. Show me. Show me. I never doubt about his football qualities. But you saw how he's fighting, how he's running. And if you have then the talent of Sipho, then he can be very happy with as a coach. And I told him after the game, I said, you grabbed your chance. Congratulations for that.
Hi, Rob. This is Andrew from Rodipot. Rob, hearty congratulations to Hugo Broos and his troops for qualifying us for the World Cup next year, Rob. I must say that the old man, most of us doubted him when he came to South Africa. But I think, Rob, he has proved his mettle. He knows what he's doing, and he will go down as one of the most successful coaches to ever coach Bafana Bafana in recent times, Rob, and well done to him. And as much as we are celebrating, Rob, I think we need to also introspect and really go deeper to the issue of yellow cards, how they were forgotten, Rob. I believe that there needs to be consequence management, and we need to foster a culture of accountability within SAFA, because such mishaps have happened in the past with no repercussions, Rob. I believe that this time, as much as we are celebrating, but we also need to crack the whip, and really those that did this, they need to be held responsible. Andrew from Rodipot.
Andrew, thank you so much indeed. We'll continue with the show. It's a very, very special one. We'll take your calls, your WhatsApp. In fact, somebody has just dropped by in studio. Find out who.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live at the same time.
MSW.
People are talking, everybody's talking, and they're saying it's time to make insurance great again. They said our low premiums were fake news. Wrong. We're putting customers first. We're gonna drain the insurance swamp. It's full of hidden fees. But when we clean it up, believe me, it's gonna be huge.
This message has absolutely nothing to do with the US government. It's paid for by the King of Insurance, who's making insurance great again. Get a quote now. It'll be the best decision people are saying ever. King Price is a licensed FSP. No fake news, just like her insurance.
There's something magical about booking your next getaway. Whether you're flying for business or leisure, Airlink is ready to take you there in premium comfort. With over 45 destinations in 15 African countries, Airlink connects you throughout Southern Africa and beyond. No middle seats, just wider window or aisle seating. And yes, free luggage, snacks and beverages are still our thing. Plus, our Skybucks frequent flyer program rewards you every time you fly. Book on flyairlink.com or your travel agent. Fly Airlink, the freedom of the African sky.
Dlala Madluli, coach. The games are out. Who are you betting on?
Dlala Madlamin, top player. On Sports Stake 4, I'm going with the strongest defense.
Nice one, coach. But I'm going with the goals.
What's that, Coach Amanda? Now it's up to the fans to Dlala or rather Dlala what they must. Dlalu 4.
Sports Stake 4 for only R2. Pick win, lose or draw for 4 games and you could win. Play at any participating National Lottery retailer. Be enjoy a game. Panda push up play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
You work hard for your business. Why work even harder to fund it? At Lula, we've streamlined our funding process by cutting down paperwork and eliminating collateral to give you up to 5 million rand in as little as 24 hours. To us, it's not just about fast funding. It's about offering a business class experience to the people that build South Africa, one transaction at a time. Apply today and experience business class banking and funding at lula.co.za.
When you love camping, but your car doesn't.
It's wheelie time for a 4x4.
When you thought there was one, but now there's 3 babies on the way.
It's wheelie time for a bigger car.
When it's wheelie time to buy or sell your car, get a better deal at wheelie.co.za or pop in to Wheelie Centurion. We've got a wide range of cars to choose from, super helpful staff, and awesome deals on offer.
I forgot to fix the roof after the hailstorm, so my wife said.
Jerry, I asked you to fix this last weekend already, but since you didn't, I got Flash Harry.
And how does this make you feel?
Like there's another man invading my house.
No, man. Flash Harry is actually the expert in DIY waterproofing solutions with a track record since 1975.
Seriously?
Yes, and it's available in all good hardware stores. Flash Harry, it just works. Unlike some husbands. Find your nearest stockist at flashharry.co.za.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Bafana Bafana, South Africa,
We do have EWN sports reporter Utholakele Mganga, who's all the way in Mbombela. The fact that Ngota does sit on the bench and does give the impact. It's almost like a rugby session. You bring in the bomb squad to bring in some powerful effect coming off the bench. I can see that happening.
And I think if you really look at this team and you followed Bafana Bafana, especially under Hugo Broos, you'll realize that a lot of these players are players that he's always depended on and players that have always shown up for him. We remember when we started this qualification campaign, the first 2 games, Talente Mata was the one that was scoring the last minute goals to make sure that we're getting the win. Apollos has always impressed, whether it was at Polokwane City or now that he's playing at Orlando Pirates.
What a kid,
#MSW. #MSW.
Good evening, Rob, to you and the MSW listeners. Firstly, I'd like to just own up and say I was one of those who was very skeptical of Hugo Broos when he first took up his position. But I do want to say that I'm a firm believer, a staunch believer in him, and I'm fully behind him. He's done very well, and I believe he deserves the credit. Yes, there have been some factors that have worked in his favor, but overall, well done to Coach Hugo Broos. And then lastly, just the whole of Bafana Bafana, I just want to congratulate them, especially Mahupa. I think that man is very much underrated, but every time he comes on for Bafana Bafana, he always gets the job done. So very well done, Mahupa.
I think Hugo Broos will agree with you because that is why he brought him back again. Regardless of what people say, there'll always be players around the world for whatever coach that there's just a connect. So the reason why he would have brought him in the first time is the reason why he would still have faith in him this time around. So if Lyle Foster is not going to be on song and he's not going to deliver and he's not going to feature, so what do? You go back to your old trusted soldier, the man who you know is not going to disappoint. Firstly, you as a coach, and the country, certainly not. Evidence, Makgopa, is evident of that. I don't know where you were. I don't know what you were doing, what the situation was, and how you're feeling right now. But all I'm saying is that in 239 days, South Africa is heading off to the FIFA World Cup. Yes, we might be hearing Donald Trump saying a couple of things. Maybe too many bad things are happening in Mzansi, who knows? But he's actually threatened, believe it or not, to relocate World Cup matches that are set to be played next year in Boston, parts of which now he had suggested had been taken over by recent unrest. Now, the city is set to host 7 of the matches as the U.S. co-hosts the 2026 World Cup with Mexico and Canada. Trump was asked, though, about the city's mayor, Mitchell Wu, who's a Democrat, whom he called intelligent but radical left.
We could take them away. I love the people of Boston. I know the games are sold out, but your mayor is not good. They're worse than her. At least she's intelligent. Some are extremely low IQ. Those bother me more. She's intelligent, but she's radical left, and they're taking over parts of Boston. That's a pretty big statement, right? We could get them back in about 2 seconds. No, I think she is hurting Boston. The answer is yes. If somebody is doing a bad job, and if I feel there's unsafe conditions, I would call Johnny, the head of FIFA, who's phenomenal, and I would say, let's move it to another location. And he would do that. He wouldn't love to do it, but he'd do it. Very easily he'd do it. And this is the right time to do it. If I thought Boston was doing something that was going to cause safety conditions for the World Cup, I could say the same thing for the Olympics, because we have events that are in different locations for the Olympics. It's based in LA. If I thought LA was not going to be prepared properly, I would move it to another location if I had to. On that one, I'd probably have to get a different kind of a permission, but we would do that.
Sounds pretty much like a Donald Trump World Cup. If I want this, I can move it here. You are intelligent, you have no IQ, I can do X and Y. Hey guys, you know what? Politics aside, but history has been written at the Mbombela Stadium. I suppose the drums of destiny sounding, Bafana Bafana, Warriors in green and gold. They've answered the call. It was a 3-0 demolition of Rwanda. You can't just call that a win, can you? It's a statement. I mean, South Africa is going. We're going to the World Cup. I mean, we echo this from Soweto to Skokone, from Cape Town to Cairo. And that's why tonight we're going to spread the conversation just a little bit more. And for whatever reason, it happened last night. The game ended, final whistle blew. And it wasn't Ronwen Williams, it wasn't Sipomboli that flashed onto our screens. It was an entire Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Gayton McKenzie. He was happy, he was excited. He was overcome by something. What were you overcome by?
I was overcome by everything that every soccer-loving South African, I mean, it's just mine was on TV. There were people that were running on the streets.
Yeah.
I mean, we had places where people didn't sleep 2 o'clock at night in South Africa. They were out in KZN, different places where people are happy.
Yeah.
So mine was just captured. I was saying to my son, I said to him, he says, Dad, you are happy, eh? I said, the problem is the TV didn't show me last week when we were beaten by Zimbabwe. They would have said the minister was so sad. I love this team. I love Bafana Bafana. What they've done, we're going to the World Cup. 2002 was the last time. I mean, that's more than 20 years ago. We mustn't talk about 2010 because that was automatic.
Yeah, we were hosting.
Yes, but I'm saying that, it means so much for us and the people that love football. This is a soccer nation more than a rugby or a cricket nation. We are a soccer nation. And you might think we are a rugby nation because of the happiness.
Yes.
But I want to say to you, I can't remember when last in my life I was that happy.
I know even the president, I don't know where he was flying to, but I think he was showing off his Wi-Fi capabilities there. He was on a flight to somewhere. You had made a call to him. He was on a video call and the players were there. And you were jumping up. And in fact, he was watching the last few minutes of the game. And that's where you also popped in for the entire world to see. He says, look at Gayton. Look, he's so happy. What was the trigger for you? What was going through your mind in that moment of madness?
Now, I think before that, I've been speaking to the captain, Ronwen. I've been speaking to the players. But, and I'm not saying this because I'm on this top show. I'm saying go to my X account, go to my Facebook. I just had that belief that we're going to make it. People don't understand when you're a politician, you meet the Brazilian minister, you meet the Italian, most of the time they'll talk football.
Yeah.
Now you stand there, how's your team doing? You guys, we'll meet at the World Cup, and those type of conversations.
And you're doubting yourself at the time, and you're saying, I don't know.
Yes.
But now you can confidently punch yourself in the chest and say, but of course.
When I wasn't the minister, but I remember when they hired Hugo Broos,
yes.
I said, where is he taking Joe Biden?
Like, who's the Madala here?
And Hugo Broos, let me tell you, he has a football brain. There's favorite players that I have. That's not in that squad. But, and that is what that's why I'm not the coach and he's the coach. We all think we know, but this is what he's done all his life.
Sure.
And what went through my mind to answer, I just video call. I don't video call men. Let me put it that way. I just video call the president out of the blue there because people are saying that. One of the players, I can't remember who was it, was saying that. Yeah, you look like the president to some guy that's standing behind me.
Yes.
He said to him, you look like the president. I thought he's the president coming. I'm like, where's the president? So I then video call the president. Lo and behold, I see him answering. And the players were I'm just showing the president, I'm not speaking.
Yeah.
And he was so excited. Everyone was excited. For us, what Bafana Bafana has done, what Helman Mkhalele has done, what Hugo Broos has done, for us South Africans, Rob, I was on this show when I became a minister. There was a lot of people that say to me, you have to deal with what's happening with the leadership of SAFA and whatever. Sure. I met with the leadership of SAFA. I sat with them face to face. I said, I'm new. I'm a minister responsible for this portfolio. I'm going to ask you two things. And if you don't deliver these two things, I need you to do the honorable thing. And I need you to resign. Because we cannot have our football. And they said, what's the two things? I said, qualify for the World Cup and qualify for the African Cup of Nations. I even said it here on your show. Now, people are saying, these boys didn't just qualify. They qualified facing the biggest mistake that has ever been done in our country. They had to overcome a double breach.
Sure.
And it was out of the hands. I don't even know what to call it.
Administrative bungle that almost cost us a place then. So, rewind. So, think of that, and you've mentioned it now. These are the same SAFA people that you said, get us to the World Cup or else. All of you are going to have to sacrifice your jobs because why not? It's a group that you can achieve this, except for Nigeria, if Nigeria is playing at its best. But we saw what Nigeria did. They played at their best and it worked to our favor yesterday. So kudos, guys. All the Nigerians listening, thank you very much indeed. We'll support you for the playoffs. I want to go back to that again and just get the minister's thought on it. We're going to bounce back. So put your minister's hat on now and what you expect from SAFA. So nobody took accountability for that. Till today, Hugo Broos says, it's all of us. I take account. I'm a coach. I should have. But he will because he's a gentleman.
Yes.
But that from an admin perspective, when you have an entire team of technical people, somebody has to be accountable. As we hop onto the plane to the World Cup, would you want to still see the person responsible for that go to the World Cup? Because that's a major, major problem.
No, Rob, let's start with Hugo Broos. He's a gentleman. And he feels that he's the captain of the ship. And if one person on board in his team has made a mistake, he wants to fall on that sword. But I'm not going to accept that. Because I tell you why. Hugo Broos is an old man. He's going to retire. Now, if we don't take action, what lessons would we have learned from what has happened? You know, it's not just that we didn't. You must understand what was at stake here. Everyone in the World Cup is going to get a new contract. All the players that has never played in a World Cup, which is all of them there. This would have been the one opportunity they would have missed. So what I'm doing is, I was a bit strategic in how I handled this matter. The coach said, no, leave this issue. I'm not going to leave the issue, number one. That I can't do. I'm not allowed to leave the matter, even if I want to.
But they haven't sent you a report yet, have they?
Pardon?
Have they sent you a report?
I told them not to send me a report.
Okay.
What I did is I'm doing it very strategically. Because there is this little big issue that they don't want government's interference in soccer.
Sure.
Yeah. So what I've done, a letter is going to, I think it's out already, it's going to FIFA and to CAF to inform them about our action. And then we must investigate. How would we know that somebody was not paid to do that? That's a possibility. And I'm not saying...
An external influence.
How would you know? Because there was no investigation. And I'm not even casting aspersions on no one.
Sure.
How would you know that someone comes and they feel this player? You never know those things. What I'm saying is that under my ministry and my rule, this matter will not be swept under the carpet. I'm going to bring out a statement tomorrow to tell people what we've done, how far. We said it's starting today, which is Wednesday. We started, we said we met. And we must investigate this matter. And whoever's responsible must face the full might of the law. This is not about I like you and you like me. Do you understand all the people that called me today like, let's leave it, we've qualified? Were the same people last week that said, no, you have to investigate. I'm going to do what I need to do as a minister. But I didn't want to do it in the past week.
Sure.
People were saying, no, you have to investigate now. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Because you want all attention to be on the qualification. But now, we've qualified. I must investigate, and I can assure the soccer-loving nation and South Africans as a whole that tomorrow a statement will go out to say what's the steps, how far we are, what we've done today, between today and tomorrow, and how the future looks. But I can tell you, Rob, we respect the coach, but he will not be here in a few years' time, and Bafana will always be here. I will not be here in a few years' time, but Bafana will always be here. I need to be firm. I need to be decisive. Indecision is the worst thing I can do to the soccer-loving nation.
And it's South Africa. I think sometimes, people treat it as it's a PTY Limited, like it's a private company, and it's not. I always say we sing Nkosi Sikelel, you're the minister in South Africa within a South African cabinet, so your responsibilities are far-reaching towards entities like SAFA, like SARU, like Cricket South Africa, like SASCOG. Yeah, not to interfere, but to demand the best. Because when they want to host an event, they come to you. They say, hey, government, give us the reassurance. You sign them off and you give them off like you did for the FIFA World Cup. So for me, surely, you can't allow a team to go to the World Cup when there's that funny thing hanging over people's heads to say nothing was done. You demand excellence in the same way that the coach has provided excellence.
100%. FIFA's the rules change all the time. Look at how we all thought that the team that comes second automatically is the team qualifying. The rules change. You need somebody in that position that understands the space, the rules, interpret the laws of the game. The game changes. The game is no longer stagnant. It changes all the time. So tomorrow it might be today where you play the player that has a yellow card.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, tomorrow it will be a new rule that came out, which will not be interpreted the way it should be, and will be docked points. All I'm saying that the investigation is now starting. I didn't want to start it before we know, do we qualify or stuff like that. All of us should be behind the team. We were behind the team, but we can't leave this thing. We have been embarrassed as a country. We come across as a country that don't understand the rules of FIFA. We come across as a country that might wanted to cheat our way to the World Cup. All those things. In fact, I'm writing a letter to SAFA to say, withdraw your appeal I'm writing them tonight a letter because they've appealed the ruling.
Did they share that with you? Because, at times it's difficult to get a lot
No,
coming out of that.
they shared it with me. They said, even our defense, they shared with me.
Yes.
I demanded to know what's happening. And they appealed because I tell you why. I remember many years ago, Rob, I was in jail and they gave us first 8 years. So this one guy, he also got 6 years. He said, I'm appealing. I said, Chief, leave this thing, man. You'll be out in no time. Just play soccer here, enjoy. And I'm appealing. When he appealed, he came back with 24 years.
They doubled the sentence.
So I want to tell Safa, listen here.
Let it go.
Let this thing go. And
So if they let it go, then they must let somebody else go.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time.
MSW. Hear that? That's the sound of the Total Energies CAF Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco 2025, and you could win double tickets to the opening match. Simply visit Total Energies, fill up with 750 Rand or more of Excellium fuel, or top up with Quartz engine oil, and you're in the game. So join us as we celebrate the spirit of football together, and let's make Africa the home of the beautiful game. Exclusive to club members, valid 30 September to 17 November. T's and C's apply.
Summer's calling. You can feel it in the air. But your best summer, it doesn't start out there. It starts inside Virgin Active, where you bliss out in Reformer and sweat it out in the sauna, where you find community in Lift Club and get your me time with Kids Club. With unlimited classes, expert support, and weekly rewards, start your best summer inside with 20% off your membership for a year. Visit your nearest club or join online at virginactive.co.za. Everything you need is inside. T's and C's apply.
Dlala Madluli, coach. The games are out. Who are you betting on?
Dlala Madlamin, top player. On Sports Stake 4, I'm going with the strongest defense.
Nice one, coach. But I'm going with the goals.
What's that, Coach Amanda? Now it's up to the fans to dala or rather dlala what they must. Dlalu 4.
Sports Stake 4 for only R2. Pick win, lose or draw for 4 games and you could win. Play at any participating National Lottery retailer. Be in a game. Panda push up play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Lift is turning 5 and we're celebrating with South Africa. Back in 2020, the public chose our name, and now 5 years later, Lift is inviting you to design a tale of a real Airbus A320. That's right, your design could take to the skies on one of our aircraft. And the best part? The winning designer gets flights for a whole year. Don't miss your chance to leave your mark on South African skies. Visit lift.co.za to enter today. T's and C's apply.
Awards matter, but what matters more? That when a woman calls, she knows she'll be heard. Her claim will be handled with care. She'll be protected, supported, and always, always put first. That's why we've been named Top Short-Term Insurer 2025 at the Ask Africa Orange Index. First for women, the only insurer voted first for putting her first. Visit firstforwomen.co.za to learn more. A licensed non-life insurance FSP. T's and C's online.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 200 gram or 230 gram Nescafe Classic Coffee granules or Doi pack assorted for $129.99 with Spar Rewards, or 2 litre Spar full cream or low-fat ultra-pasteurized milk for $31.99. Save 5 Rand with Spar Rewards. Price is valid 8 to 20 October 2025 while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
How talented is that man? Talent to matter.
We do have EWN sports reporter Utholele Mganga, who's all the way in Mbombela.
It's so funny how the announcer was saying before they went back in, warning the fans that they mustn't invade the pitch at the end of the 90 minutes. Hopefully it will be a good invasion, but a lot more needs to show up within the next 30 minutes in order to show the team that we are fully and truly behind them.
Oswin Apollos.
It was a struggle for him to decide who would replace him against the Limbo guys.
#MSW. #MSW.
Evening, Prarop, evening, everyone in South Africa, evening to the World Cup qualifiers. We qualified for the World Cup. Since when? Hugo Broos did a good job and a great job. He is the best of the best to coach South Africa. South Africa is back now to the World Cup. We are going to conquer them. We are going to finish the teams there. I see us going through. Siyagqita group stages. These guys are on spirit, are on fire. Thank you, Rob. It's Maradona from
Sawina Bafana, Sawina. Phambili ngoBruce phambili. Mr. Marawa, usibongele ndlo kamkhwani kamgaya emathafeni. I'm over the moon, Putomdala. I'm over the moon. Congratulations to Bafana Bafana. Congratulations to a technical team, playing personnel, and to all the fans who were behind the boys, wherever they were playing. Thank you very much to everyone. And I think, as I said yesterday, bringing on Talent Mbata to the starting lineup was going to give us a lot of options going forward. And it's proved that I was right, because he's the one who scored the first goal. I was very, very happy, Mr. Marawa. And I think we qualify in a very, very, very good fashion on the last day of the qualifiers. CI, we say CI. CI, we say CI. Thank you, Mr. Marawa. Good show as always.
Good evening, Rob, and all the listeners. This is Joel from Watfield in Benoni. I just want to congratulate the coach, Hugo Broos, for the great job that he has done with Bafana Bafana. It was not an easy journey. It was not an easy thing. There were a lot of things that happened on the way, but finally, the guys have made it. While we are also congratulating Bafana Bafana, we shouldn't forget to congratulate Cape Verde that they have made it to the World Cup. Yeah, for those that have been watching them, they know what I mean. Yeah, it would be beautiful to see them in the field and also in the stands whenever the cameras are there. Thank you, Rob. Sharp.
What are you looking at in the stands? I thought the football was played on the field. Yeah. Oh, we in studio, man. We're just picking apart a historical moment in South Africa, 239 days away from the groundbreaking FIFA World Cup 26. And one thing I can tell you is that South Africa is still in celebration. Maybe I didn't see a declaration for there to be a public holiday. There was nothing. We have a whole minister here in the studio, didn't put the motion forward or call an ad hoc committee to come in and put an ad break to the hearings of, hey, I will be here all week. No. We needed some form of declaration here, Minister. But the previous voice, though, talks about Cape Verde. I mean, how sad a story would that have been? Yeah, about Iceland, Cape Verde, populations the size of Pretoria, going to a World Cup and South Africa failing. We could not have fallen short of that, could we?
Now, let me tell you, I was earlier just saying, I was sad when Bafana lost against Zimbabwe. In fact, Zimbabwe, and I want to talk about
the draw.
Yeah, well, the draw for us
was like a loss.
It was like a loss, the draw. But I want to talk about Nigeria also. But let me start with Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe went there to disqualify us. They went there to disqualify us.
They were on the mission.
Look, I think Lesotho trapped them. No, those guys, let me tell you, they played 10 men. Yeah. Those guys, they went there to say today. In Lesotho, there's a word, Raikana. We are swearing here. We put our head on the Bible. This South Africans, we are going to show them. So I watched them play.
Yeah.
I mean, Lesotho trapped them. But those guys were 10 men. Now, here's my point I'm trying to make. So I was very sad. I went to my house. I sat in front of the TV was off. I'm like, man, what did I just witness here?
Yeah.
And I thought, I can't be more sadder. Until I saw on the news that Cape Verde was here in Alex, half of Alex. They've qualified. This can't be. But I didn't give up hope. Then I went to the game. Rob, There's a guy, after the first goal,
Yeah.
he says to me, Minister, I want to talk about this project. Kiri, listen here. Today is not a day for projects. Go and pray. Don't talk about projects. Because I see you don't want to watch football. Get out room, you go in that room and pray. Because when you're not interested in football, you come to me with. You see, that's why I don't like this.
Business proposals, Minister. Hey, business proposals. So the
Nigeria.
business, yeah.
Nigeria. I hear people are saying Nigeria did us a favor. No, they didn't. Nigeria did nothing for us. Let me tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Lesotho, after this mishap happened, this blunder.
It's a blunder.
Yeah.
It's a disgrace.
This disgrace happened. Lesotho didn't want to, or they didn't pay the 6,000 francs. They didn't want to proceed with this matter. The country that went to Benin was Nigeria. Nigeria and Benin, they together cooked the pot to say we can't let this matter go. I'm giving you the follow-up thing.
Yes.
What happened immediately after that?
Yeah.
Nigeria and Benin, not Lesotho. Lesotho was the one that is the aggrieved party. But these two then said, no, FIFA, you can't leave South Africa. We were then, 3 points were docked from us. They were celebrating. So Nigeria went there to save themselves. They didn't go there to save us. They saved themselves. Benin was just collateral damage in Nigeria wanting to save themselves.
Yeah.
You know who saved us? Those players on that field. They saved South Africa. If they won 1-0, we would have still have qualified. But they went there. You know how you must know South Africans were really tuned into this game. I had 2 phones. My phone came and I'm watching the Nigerian score the whole time.
Yeah.
And every time Nigeria scores, usually when you watch Premiership football, you can hear in the crowd if the opposing team scored. There was nothing like that. The crowd was focused,
cruising
on this game. So it was, we went there, the guys was willing to die on that field. I mean, to die. Ron once said to me, Minister, look me in the eye. We are not getting off that field without the win. I'm like, thank you. Then I was like, I could see it wasn't false confidence. He knew as the captain, I'm going to lead from the front.
And lead it did. You know, obviously, you've painted a picture, and you're correct that about favors and so on. It's football. It's the nature of the game. So Nigeria needed to win. We needed to win. And by them needing to win, they then made our win even 100% sweeter because it was qualified right there and there. So you couldn't do anything about it. And kudos to them. I mean, we were saying individual brilliance in, Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen is a superstar. He single-handedly wanted to dismantle Benin. So Benin moved from top of the table and they moved to number 3 at the end of the day. They don't have any chance of moving forward and still utilizing the FIFA rules of where you finish on the table to anything. So it almost becomes like null and void. Kia Draw has been talking here and there, but at the end of the day, he's a former Nigerian coach, a current Benin coach, and a coach who's not going to the World Cup. So that is how he'll be remembered as far as this campaign is concerned. But your main worry would be what? Do you think, we'll steal a few minutes hopefully afterwards with you if you don't mind and the team doesn't mind, not too much. But what is your main worry to make sure that collectively South Africa has a team that fights together? There's usually pockets of conversation saying that there's still some of the SAFA or Bafana technical team or players that still haven't been paid since the last camp that they had. Would you want to clear that? How would you want to clear that? Because I can confirm for you right here at 5 minutes to 7 that those conversations still happen. But besides all of those things, the guys delivered.
All right. Before I come back, can I just say one quick thing?
Sure, no problem.
I heard you earlier saying that we will root also for Nigeria. I want to make it very clear. I wish for them not to qualify. I just want to make that one clear. They tried. I knew what they did behind the scenes. You're a far better man than me. I knew what they did behind the scenes for us not to get there. I want them to lose. They must not go to the World Cup. And another African country must go.
You don't like them that much?
No, it's not that. I give the energy you give.
Yeah.
They don't like us, we don't like them. And that's soccer, and it's not personal.
Yeah.
It's like Chiefs and Pirates. You know, they don't like each other, but it's not personal. It's not personal. It's in the life of soccer. Man and husband will not speak the day after the derby. But that doesn't mean they hate each other with their hate. But Nigeria wish us not to be the World Cup. So I'm returning that wish to say, in these 9 teams, they must find hell there. Another African country must come up and take Nigeria's place that's not as hostile to South Africa. So,
okay.
Let me come to the question. You know, the greatness of this team, Rob, it's what most people don't know, but they're going to know now. Firstly, in this country, and you can't blame the sponsors, in this country, people fall over each other to sponsor rugby. Bafana Bafana can't attract sponsors. And that is the PSL, for instance, is the most successful league on the African continent. What Dr. Koza has done for the PSL must still be studied. I tell you, I saw him in a meeting the other day where he was fighting for the Diski League. For the people don't know this type of stuff behind the scenes. With when they took over SuperSport, Canal Plus, like what is done is we must still study that one day of how we have turned this league around and made it professional and made it the league that everybody is jealous of. But let's come to SAFA and these players. SAFA does not have sponsorship. I remember Honor, the CEO of Honor, walked into my office and he was telling me all these brilliant things he wants to do with me as the sports minister. I looked him straight in the eye. I said, prove to me you are who you say you are. Your next meeting, walk into SAFA. Go and sponsor something there. And when you sponsored something, then you come back to me. Honor, the cell phone company, they went there, they came back, they sponsored something. Now, I'm working behind the scenes to get them proper sponsorships. And I'm saying this because the people that suffered was the technical team, the players, because there's just no money coming in. I had to help them last December to pay the salaries of the players as the department.
Again?
No, that time I had last December. I had to advance money for that. I've only been a minister for a year.
No, that's what I'm just
December.
Like, you're advancing too much.
And I look at these boys and I was near tears when they said, Minister, you're going to make us happy again. I said, yes. Tomorrow I'm sitting with my team to tell them, let's see how much is there that we can give them. Because what they've done, getting salaries late. And it's easy for me to come here and say, SAFA doesn't pay the people. But that's not how sports work. Sports work with sponsorships. You look at cricket. Cricket, there was a time when they had $1 billion in the bank.
But you also gotta give a proper proposition, though, Minister, to say
they don't have that.
So it's the willingness or the lack of manpower that work at SAFA to do the job.
To answer your question, we can't go with SAFA as it is right now to the World Cup.
You can't go with it as it is.
Yes, it is SAFA, not the players.
What would need to change?
You need to have proper people in place, and that's what I think where SAFA lacks.
Okay. What we lack is time, but I can ask everybody to go on the YouTube channel because you guys know when everybody agrees, we do honor the minister, we do take some of the time, and I think what he is about to say is very important, saying that we cannot go to a World Cup with everything as it is at SAFA. So what is it that he would like to change, and how quickly can it change in 239 days before we go to the World Cup? So find out, switch on to the YouTube channel. So officially, thanks to the minister for being on the show for now, but it does continue, and you can join us again tomorrow on hashtag MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide, proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
The thrill, the drama, the action. Play the game again. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets. #MSW. Live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. At the same time. #MSW. Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
We do have EWN sports reporter Utholele Mganga, who's all the way in Mbombeles. You know what? For me, I don't want to sound cynical here. I never do predictions, never have, never will in my life. But I see South Africa walking away with 4-0 here.
Listen, Rob, we're already all starting to do our best in the press area. I said 3-0. For me, I truly believe that on our side, we know exactly what we have to do. Raman was speaking about it yesterday, where he was saying, in truth, a lot of the mood and the impact of what's happening in the other game will be determined by how the fans react. If the fans are celebrating while Bafana are just passing the ball around, we would know that Nigeria have scored that side, can make up for the fact that Safa made a blunder. All we have to do is believe.
#MSW. #MSW. Wednesday nights, soccer nights, your nights.
Hi, Mr. Marawa and the team. I would like to say congratulations to Coach Hugo Broos and his technical team for the job well done. Unfortunately, I'm a bit disappointed by a certain segment of our population which is trying to associate such achievement by Coach Hugo Broos and his technical team to our local football clubs. I think we need to learn that Bafana Bafana is a national asset, whereas our favorite clubs are our preferences. So I think we need to improve from that side. And also the Minister of Sport. I don't think that it was necessary for him to tell Coach Hugo Broos that, despite the fact that he didn't select his players or players from his favorite club. I think it was disappointing for a sport minister to fail a public relations in such a manner. Can you please invite that Nigerian analyst, Mr. Marawa, to say something? David in Parkwood.
David in Parkwood, thank you so much indeed. And also just to salute and welcome everybody joining us on the YouTube channel. Good to have you on board, guys. Thank you for stretching the time a little bit. We do invite you to send us your WhatsApp voice notes, 0607080484. Otherwise, 8838 947 011 8838 947. If you want to call us directly into studio. We're not going to be long with the minister. He has agreed. We'll do a full-on 30-minute session now. So do send whatever questions. I think he's more than willing. He hasn't been here in a while. So let's thrash it all out. So David in Parkwood, just saying, Minister, and again, thank you so much indeed for your indulgence and stretching the time a little bit more. What you said to Hugo Broos yesterday, he takes umbrage in that. What did you say?
No, I heard now he's taking umbrage at that. What I said to Hugo Broos, I was not speaking to Hugo Broos. He was standing next to me.
Yeah.
I was being interviewed. And I said, most of my friends are Chiefs supporters. Kaizer Chiefs supporters. Yeah. The majority of my friends. And they are angry. And let's name them. It's Kaizer Chiefs supporters. Some of them are angry. So I was saying to them, guys, we all have our favorite players. Even I have my favorite player, which is not there. But I'm still supporting the team wholeheartedly. I'm still supporting the coach, even if he doesn't choose my favorite player. So I was making a point to say that if your favorite player is not there, imagine if the coach has to take all our favorite players. He will have half the PSL. He will have them there in the squad. We'll need a train instead of a bus to travel from point A to point B. So I would never insult the coach like that. I was just saying that I have a favorite striker that I would, if I'm a coach, I'll put him in. And he wasn't in.
Yeah.
And I said, but that doesn't even diminish 1% of my love, my support, my admiration for Hugo Broos. I've been supporting him. I mean, the man knows what he's doing.
So who is your favorite striker?
Lodge.
Oh,
yeah.
Thembigosi Lodge.
Yes, I think for me, he's a favorite. You know, he plays in a tough league.
Yeah.
And locally, I think he has done well with the strikers, yes. But I just think, but when I didn't see Lodge there, I didn't now throw my toys out of the court. I didn't say this man. No. Because I'm not going to put laws ahead of Bafana Bafana.
Yeah, and you have a certain decorum as a minister to
Yes.
follow, so you can't be screaming your favorites when you have to support the national team cause.
100%. Then all I'm saying is, guys, no, at the end of the day, we can say what we like. The minister can say what he like. Rob can say what he like. At the end of the day, Hugo Broos is the winner here. His strategy has succeeded. I saw a game the other day of a certain keeper that didn't want to be substituted. I was like, hey. And this keeper didn't want to be. And he went on and I looked at it and I'm like, well, for his part, he better make sure he stops the goals. And he didn't.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm saying is that if you're going to behave in a certain way, or you, like Hugo Broos has behaved and say, this is my squad, which means we were wrong, our players, maybe Lord should not have scored the goals that was scored by Apollos and them.
And it's the same. I mean, people are calling for Brad Grobler to be included because, he's the top goal scorer right now. He's at, almost 40 years old. But he's still turning on the magic. Now, one of the things, and before we go back to the important thing you mentioned before the break, I wanted to acknowledge, you spoke about the PSL chairman early on and the hard work that he's put in. So yesterday, 11 players in the Bafana Bafana starting lineup against Rwanda play for local PSL clubs. You rewind the clock and you say, it's the first time we played a World Cup qualifier under Hugo Broos with no foreign-based players. First time.
It speaks to the league. It speaks to the quality of the league that we have here. It speaks to what the PSL has done. People, it's like with my job, and I see it even with the chairperson's job of the PSL. People don't see the behind-the-scenes things we are putting in. Me going around looking for sponsorships for Bafana Bafana. Me hearing some country wants to take Hugo Broos because he's not been paid. Saying, hey, no, come, I'm sending the URL. Make an example. I'm saying to you that those players died for us on that field. And for that, everybody is happy. We should never, and I also think we shouldn't look at the national team through the lens of our teams. It's a source of unhappiness that.
Yeah.
Once you look through, I was looking at Sukazi, Bratim, yesterday.
Yes, of TS Galaxy.
Of TS Galaxy. I was sitting behind him. And I saw his reaction when the goal went in. He didn't say, that's not my player. He didn't say that. The way, he's wearing those colorful hats, the nice ones.
I was wondering if you could see the game with that hat.
No, But I was just looking at him to say, look how happy he is. Yeah. He's not saying, my player didn't score.
Well, his former goalkeeper was the goalkeeper for Rwanda.
Well, we're not going to go there now. So, but what I want to say is that, what makes football? Because the soccer gods, they don't have favorites.
They smile.
Yeah, the soccer gods does not have favorites. They keeps us interesting. You get your team. Benin went to Rwanda. Some of them has already packed their bags for America. Not to Rwanda, to Nigeria.
To Nigeria, yeah.
They already packed their bags, and you get there and you get a thrashing. And you get a thrashing, and it shows you what you said earlier is so true. Not only the tactical and technical awareness of the hat-trick maestro, but the fact that he understood what Bafana Bafana understood to say a nation is watching. So what we're going to do, Brother Rob, is that we've qualified. No matter who, I'm saying whoever we wanted to have there should not have been there. My favorite player, Lodge, should not have been there. Because the man, I look at Danny Jordan. I looked him in the eye. I said to him, Dr. Jordan, I need me and you to understand one thing. I need two things from you. But I need you to understand, if you fail to deliver these two things, it's over for you guys here. He shook my hand. Now he's delivered the two things I said. Must I now not praise the man? Must I now not say thank you, you've achieved the targets that I set on behalf of the nation? Now, people, when they hate you, don't hate you forever. Even if you produce, they want to hate you forever. Bafana Bafana, and I'm going to make an example with the Olympics. When I went to the Olympics, Rob, and the same thing that I'm not going to allow to happen to Bafana Bafana. I got there and they showed me, we had 2 doctors there for the whole team, I think, or 1 doctor or 2 doctors. And I realized the American and the UK athletes, they have a nutritionist there, they have a masseuse there, they have the physician there, they have all the things that makes an athlete. You know, an athlete is 60% or 70%. There's the 30%. Now, a person like a local player, because we don't have international players like that has millions in their accounts. A local player depends on the salary.
You do, Lyle Foster.
Yeah. I said...
a local player who
a local player. Yeah, Lyle is playing overseas.
Yeah.
Now, I'm saying a local player still goes payday to go and draw out and pay stuff to see what's left after the thing. Now, you can't have that guy worried about, will there be money? Have they send the money? Now, SAFA needs to beef up. What we have now, I looked at SAFA, and I'm telling you, they need to get proper people to search for sponsorship. They need to have proper models in place. They need to, this mistake should have been detected before it happened. That should have every person behind should have a senior. All I'm saying that SAFA in its current form, it's not sufficient to compete. It can go to the World Cup, but we'll go there and we'll be back. We'll even tell the pilot to say, don't switch off the plane.
So who do we drop within SAFA ranks? So they delivered the 2 things you wanted initially. So my big worry now is that they will think what they've done is okay. So when you set the standards that low, Minister, for me it becomes a problem that you set the precedent for whoever comes after to say, we can also do similar or worse. There'll be no repercussions. So that for me, and as you were saying before 7 o'clock, that there are a couple of things that you are going to make sure happen at SAFA before we even board that flight. So who is going to drop and fall behind?
Let me first answer your first thing about standards low. Rob, we've not qualified for 20 odd years. It cannot be a low standard to put that as a standard. That's number one. We even struggle to qualify for the African Nations Cup. But what I'm going to do, you see, what people don't understand, not everything needs to be a fight.
Sure.
I'm meeting with SAFA. We're going to tell them, guys, this is the model. We're going to work out the model. I come from the corporate world, so I understand these things. And that's what I'm doing with the artists at the moment.
So a blueprint of...
Yes, a blueprint of a winning team.
Right.
This is the model. All right. Now let's put yours next to that one. These are the people that you're going to be judged on the field equally. These players are not going to be told this one gets a penalty because they don't have a fundraiser. This one don't get a bonus. No, the soccer doesn't work like that. So once we have that, and my relationship with SAFA will be dependent on the attitude towards the changes that must come about. Like for instance, you cannot take a person to the World Cup that is responsible for this whole fiasco. Because people are still going to get yellow cards at the World Cup. 100%. So I'm just saying that it's going to, tough decisions and tough conversations are going to be held between us. And some of them, there will be casualties.
But how much time are you giving them? Because like I mentioned, and I keep repeating, 239 days until the World Cup proper kicks off. So give aside the 100-day countdown, which is going to be just around the corner. When we finish in Morocco playing the AFCON, our time's going to be limited, Minister. We've got to be honest with ourselves. South Africans, for the first time, sacrificing Christmas and New Year to play football. Unheard of. But also representing their national team, trying to improve on a bronze medal that they got the last time, making history, again with Hugo Broos. And then a couple of months down the line, they have to go to the USA. So more sacrifice. So when they're supposed to have off-season, so this is going to be new to a lot of the players because now this is uncharted waters. They're used to, but their mindset needs to be tuned in to say, guys, this is a once-in-a-lifetime. This is what Mark Fish, Sean Bartlett, Benny McCarthy, you name it, Stephen Pinar, this is what all those guys fought for and they got, and that's why they became Premier League heroes. And if you mess up this chance, you'll have gazillion Christmases and New Years after that when you're living large, wherever you're going to be living large. But you need this right now. Who are going to be those people to work on their mental side? Like you said, these psychologists, these nutritionists, these gazillion other doctors, not one team doctor, to help the process. Are we going to be well equipped enough to give these boys literally everything? The only thing they have to worry about is how many goals they score.
If we don't give them everything, we are setting them up to fail. SAFA can't give them at the moment. We've spoken to lots of corporates, and most of them said, let's see if they qualify, then we can have another conversation.
Yeah.
They've qualified. So the time has come for us to have that conversation with them. Now I'm saying to Rob, South Africa is not short of donor or sponsor money for sponsorship. I mean, you look at F1. We've managed to raise 2.1 billion rand for the F1. Now, which means this country has money, and all of them were South African companies. Now, I'm sitting here, and as the minister, it will be a failure on my part if we send them half prepared there. You know, Hugo Broos has been a father. He's been a psychologist. I mean, he's a way of motivating those players. The one player was telling me, Hugo Broos told him, I'm going to give you one chance, not 1.5. He said, how did you know?
I know. Hey, Minister, the Scorpions here, boss.
And Sipo went on that field. And look at him today. He's a complete player, man. Look at him. He's in off the field. He's such a joy. You know, yesterday, Mdu, why you for me? He had this first cap. And, you know, I look at Sipo. And them. How, because I always look at these things from a distance.
Sure.
Just how he makes him feel welcome. How he honors him. That this is a young man. Why you for me? And he's like, he felt so good, but they covered him. But that's not always possible. So you have to have that. So I'm saying my promise to the South African nation is that we must help SAFA to help themselves. And that's what we intend doing. And I must say, there's not been an arrogance on their part that I've experienced. So let us see. As I say, everything doesn't need to be a fight, but it can become a fight if it needs to become a fight.
Sure.
But for now, the first thing I want to do, I just want to incentivize these boys in the Amajita. Because under the same circumstances, knowing that, you know, and I don't want to compare, but I'm not going to mention specific sport, but I'm going to mention sport.
Sure.
I see other sporting codes getting everything. I mean, everything. And I'm happy for that because I'm their minister too. But then I look around and I see Bafana Bafana guys. Oh, my heart. So I'm just saying that the time has come where even I as the minister must, before I want to ask money from the Hollywood bastards of this world, I must start by seeing in my department, what is it I can give them? You know, they don't forget. We've had this little private game with them. We said to them, all right, if you qualify here, we're going to have a party.
Yes.
So then they say, Minister, you promised us with the party there. I said, yeah, but you've not qualified yet. Then I said, when you qualified here, last night, they remembered, they're like, Minister, you told us. And it was, I think, 8 games away.
They just want you to deliver, you know.
And I'm going to deliver, so I can tell you.
100%. So that is what I was going to say. When you incentivize them, what ballpark figure are you looking at? And I know I'm putting you on the spot, and I don't mind that because I know I'm gonna sit on your back and I'm gonna make sure that you deliver, because these boys have brought so much joy to a nation that there are kids who are 23 years old that don't know what it means to be in a World Cup, having qualified to be in a World Cup. So how much time are you giving yourself to now address the nation and say, South Africa, from the ministry, or if you do the most genius thing in the world, to bring all of these betting companies together, Betway, 10 Bet, Hollywood Bet, Sports World, and you bring them together and say, guys, let's fight for one thing, is to bring joy. You all have a little piece of the cake of this Bafana Bafana in one way or the other as betting companies. But as a minister, I'm saying, let's club together. All of you betting companies, you join hands. And you can imagine that photo opportunity on television and around the world. All of them lined up, but dishing out. They say sometimes money is not everything, but trust me, if you dangle a carrot, or even, I don't know, anything between 5 to 10 M, depending on whether you're saying to get into the last 16, that you guys are going to get. Minister, I can see you smiling because you know it's a plan that can work.
No, it's a plan that can work, you know. My son came to me the other day.
What plans does he have? He owes me an interview.
He says to me, Dad, we're playing Pirates, and you know Pirates is at the top form there.
Yeah.
He said, do you have some motivational words? You are a motivational speaker, Dad. I said, no. And then this new CEO said, he says, no, but the CEO, you must motivate the people. So I asked her, what you going to motivate them? She's like, don't worry. She walked in there. She says to them, guys, you're playing the Carling Black Label Cup. Pirates, unfortunately, the soccer gods didn't smile on you. They gave you Pirates. You guys can keep whatever money you're going to win in this cup. Listen, you don't understand.
Yeah.
What I saw, I was watching the game on TV. What I saw was boys playing their hearts out. Pirates, TLB scored in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But those boys, so that's the same thing. Money motivates people.
Sure.
Money motivates people. So what I want to do is I want to be the first one to give them money. Mm-hmm. It's easy, Rob, to go and ask people for money when you've contributed.
Yeah.
You know, if these people that walk around and it's so easy to say, I've given money, can you also give some money?
Sure.
So I want to be the first one. What these boys have done, I mean, they need a bonus. And the bonus must really come from us. I know the sacrifices they have made. I mean, you know, when Lyle, he could have, and I look at him yesterday and I got so much respect for him because his injury is the sort that he could have still played.
Yeah.
But because he understood what is at stake here, he said, I am not going to play.
Pass it on.
I'm going to, because it's so important that anybody on that field needs to be 100%. And really it makes me emotional when I think about these boys. And you might sit here and listen to my voice, but believe me, I did absolutely nothing. These boys did everything. When I'm happy, when I'm jumping in the air, it's not me saying I did absolutely nothing, Rob. I know the sacrifices that these boys have made. I know that. I know the insults that was launched at this coach, but particularly in the last 2 weeks. And he could have just said, listen, I'm going home. To hell with you South Africans. But he didn't. He didn't. He even said, you don't need to fire me. I'm firing myself if I don't qualify. So I'm saying that people have, you know, when he walked in there yesterday, he asked them, can I ask you one more favor to the players? They said, yes, coach. He says, one more favor I want to ask you. And I was so curious, what is he going to ask them? He says, I'm going to dance and you're going to sing. Yeah, Hugo Broos walked in yesterday after the one. All the players were there. And he said, my players, can I ask you just one last favor?
Sure.
They said, yes. He says, I'm going to jump on the table and I'm going to dance and you are going to sing.
Yeah.
Yo. You know, I saw him dance. I never think I'll enjoy white man dancing, but I enjoyed the dancing.
Yes, but also, old in a way, because I'll tell you why I include the word old, and I don't say this disrespectfully. It might not work. I know that this is radio, And so I'll try and play.
I saw him dance.
So there he is. So that is the moment. Hey, Hugo.
Hey, Hugo.
Hey, Hugo. So when I talk about Hugo Broos, and again, and I'm just sharing this with South Africans because it's going to become so important. And should he remain head coach when we head to the United States of America, that was back then, the Belgian stands to set a new world record. He could become the oldest ever coach at a World Cup at the age of 74 years old. And he will have toppled some of the oldest coaches you and I know in World Cup history. There was a 71-year-old Otto Rehhagel who managed Greece in 2010. He is the oldest.
Already?
Yeah. And Cesare Maldini managing Paraguay in 2002, having been the oldest. So if he steps forward and still sticks with South Africa, he already breaks a record. And I'll share one last thing. I don't want to tell you too many things to get you excited, but it's exciting because you can go back and remind him and the players. 12 different players scored at least once for Bafana Bafana in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. 12 different players. Never before have we seen more different players score for Bafana in a single qualifying campaign. So again, a first time. Hey, Opta Jabu always doing his work and providing us here with accurate stats. So those just two in a quick nutshell, Minister.
Wow, and those are powerful stats.
That's very powerful.
And motivational.
It's team-orientated, but also individualistic, with him being the oldest. Otto Rehhagel and all of these guys were people some of us were reading about when we were kids. So here is this Belgian mentor about to break that record.
But what I also like is beautiful to watch Helman Mkelele.
Oh, he loves him.
It's beautiful to see, Helman coming of age, like old wine, It's beautiful to see Midnight Express. And you know what? You can see he loves him. The love between those two and the respect.
Listen to this.
So, first, you are very lucky that this is the first of many who will follow this tonight, because this is really a fantastic evening for everyone. This is not only the coach. I'm part of it. This is a team who worked for the last 3 years to have all those performances and nice moments. I can't forget my staff because they helped me a lot, especially Helman. You all know that I like him very much.
Yeah.
So without
That's
him,
it.
Yeah,
That's
and you know what? He really likes him, and Helman likes him back.
Yeah.
All I'm saying to South Africans, Rob, if I just want to have a parting shot to South Africans, I was like,
please do.
I think, and I say it with all respect what I'm going to say now, I think some of us don't know what we've achieved. It hasn't sunk in yet. It will sunk in for others next week, next month. It will even sunk in for others when they see them on the pitch in North America. I'm going to talk to the Minister of Home Affairs that it needs to be seamless for people to go to America. We're not going there to look for jobs.
Yeah.
It must not be, it's very difficult to get into America. But I'm going to speak to him on that level when he meets with his counterpart. I'm going to speak to Minister Lamula when he meets with his counterpart, Foreign Affairs, that side. I think
Marco Rubio.
Yeah, he's the Secretary of State. They call it the Secretary of State. Yeah. When he meet with Marco Rubio, to say to them that South Africans want to go to the World Cup, they must find a channel to make it easy. Because I want to encourage South Africans that have jobs, save up, to go and support. Cut some other stuff so you can go. And we as government must create jobs for people so that they can also have money to go and watch the game. But Rob, thank you to you for keeping the nation always informed with facts and your scorpions, the things sometimes just, that's why some people are scared to come here because you just notice things. One person was telling me now, we are guy. That's why he's going to ask you deeper questions. So all I want to say to you is that it's people like you, the role that you play, and that's why you never send people scripted questions. No. You come, you sit in the watch seat. I'm here today, and I want to say to South Africans, you have no idea. I believe with this man, Hugo Broos, we can reach the knockout stages of the World Cup.
Sure. Hallelujah. We cannot disagree. When you are this surprise entity, an unknown entity, an entity that everybody looks down upon, you have, but by the time the world switches on to who South Africa is, yes. And you're in the last 16, hi, Minister, please. When you're in the last 16 and the people are saying, who's this country? They're all focusing on the so-called big names and everything else. Okay, Thomas Tuchel, who's he going to be playing? Hey, Portugal, they struggled yesterday. Will they make it through? They allowed a last-minute goal. So is Ronaldo going to make? Yeah. So all of those big conversations will happen. And then you slowly creep in behind the scenes. And the next minute, South Africa goes to last 16. When you're in the last 16, and the late, great Screamer Shabalala would tell the boys, piano and shoeshine.
Yes, I remember.
Nobody knows what that is. Hugo Broos will have his piano and shoeshine, and he'll tell the boys exactly that. They turn on the magic.
Do you remember Croatia did that? Do you remember?
Unexpected.
Croatia, they were the underdog.
Yeah.
And they even lost their star player because he was a bit arrogant. Then they sent him home.
Even the Denmarks, the Czechoslovakias of this world, they become world beaters at a world stage because nobody focuses on them. Because no one takes them seriously. Minister, I take you seriously, sir.
I take you seriously too. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much indeed for bringing the energy back. I know you face a lot of critics. I know you face a lot of this. That's your job. That's your duty. You face the bullets every single day. But all we can say as a sporting nation is that we appreciate. And I see you guys, all the messages on the YouTube channel. It's amazing. It quadrupled the number of people that were watching from the time we transitioned. So big up to you. Big up to the entire team behind the scenes who've made sure that they stay with us for an extra 30 minutes. So, yeah, big up, guys. Hey, I'm sorry. Somebody had a date, but please just WhatsApp the date. Tell them we'll be with them next time. Minister of Sports.
Blame the minister.
Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture. Gayton McKenzie, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out. Catch you again tomorrow.
Thank you.